Hey guys, Stuart, Mark, Paul, David, g'day. What's happening? Yeah, it's all happening. Mark Osborne, g'day. Paul, hello. Dan Shed, hello. On this episode of What Pointless Shit Dan's Bought Today. No, I'm sure it's not like that. This plate off the side of the roller. Talked to Mark about this last night on his live stream, which is probably worth a look. I'm not sure really there was a lot of content last night, but anyway. Hey Kevin. This is a reproduction plate for sure. These aren't stamped, this is actually engraved. It's machine cut into it. As far as I know, that's a reproduction plate probably. Not sure. Anyway, it's the one I got. Not sure. A lot of scrap metal here tonight. This is mostly an episode about scrap metal, everyone. This is a job, talking to Mark about this too, this is another job that needs to be done. It's a handhold door, handhold door for a boiler. Someone broke the end off it, which wasn't very thoughtful, but that's what they've done, right? Just snapped it clean off. Don't know what they were doing to do that, but anyway, that's what's happened. So that's a job for this weekend when we find some time, in amongst all the other crap that's got to happen. You got no idea what I've got lined up, but there we go. Going to set this up, bore that, drill it, probably 5/8, something like that, and machine it off. Make another stud with a flange on it that fits through it nicely, sticking out the other side, rivet the end of it over. I think it's probably going to be a pretty good fix with the thread on it, and put the nut back on it. Job's done. That should be a fairly easy fix. I might do a video about this if we get time. It's kind of my notice that everyone hates live stream videos and would rather have me produce proper content. I'm not very good at that, and I'm not very good at finding time to do that, but I'll try hard, I promise. Hey Bill. It's Australian border. I'm pretty damn sure it's not UNC, and that looks like a Whitworth nut to me. Haven't checked it, but I bet it's a Whitworth nut. So nut's too big. Nut's too big for Whitworth, but it's 5/8, so it'd be exactly the same thread, pretty much. 5/8 Whitworth, I reckon. In Australia, I doubt it's UNC. But anyway, I posted a video this week against all my better judgment. I actually posted some content. It's probably a bit draggy and stuff, but it's mostly someone following it, or a group of people following a road roller along. In a Land Rover. But anyway, it's on. Yeah, it's definitely 5/8 Whitworth. Anyway. No, this one's 5/8 Whitworth. It's exactly the same thread. So there we go. Land Rover didn't break down. Steamroller didn't break down much. We got home and we did a bit of a job, or a few jobs. Yeah, and found some broken fire bars. That was sort of the one thing that we did discover. So there you go. There's a fire bar. Look at that. That's the sort of thing you expect to see on everyone's workbench. This is a fabricated one that someone's made at some point. It's got. I think these plates in this one are parallel. I think they probably are, and the new ones probably will be too. I'm not sure. We could put thicker plates in it so there's more gap at the top and a bit of angle on here, which probably make for better fire bars, I think. They really want the angle pointing downwards. So this goes this way up. And it's pretty ugly. And I think the water, we dealt with the water remarkably well. In fact, I feel a lot better about town water after this weekend's experience than I probably had done before. So, going to get 2 bits of 1/2 inch plate that size, shape, etc. And 3 bits to go in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. 16mm plate, 12mm plate, 16mm plate, and 2 end box. And 2 little cheek pieces here in 10mm plate. So that's pretty straightforward. Probably the 10mm is just going to be 30 by 10 or something like that. And we'll just cut them length on the bandsaw rather than get them cut out. Maybe it's alright just to get them cut. But these we're going to get laser cut, and the centre pieces, honestly, probably could get a bit of flat and just cut the centre pieces as well. What's all they've done with these is put that same piece of flat on its end, at the end there. But I think we're going to get proper pieces cut for the ends. So that's another job. If anyone wants a job, there's some fire bars we made. I need 4 of them. I need 5 all up. We've got one that's sort of half decent. Depending on the quote, we might get 5 made. Put this one away for a spare. That's another job, because we need another job. Anyway, that's sort of what's happening here. Got to put a bush in this. Everyone's basic says that this needs a bush. This is for the Bay of Peacock engine. Have a look, it's fairly warm. But everyone says you bush the back of it. That's how I knot the front and leave a bit of a gap at the front, and that's what holds it in place, and it looks like it hasn't been bushed. So that sounds like a really good idea to me. That's the valve rod gland. It doesn't want too tight clearances on that though. You're right, it wants to be loose, but I think that 2mm, that's got probably a bit much. So we'll fix that. Let's all go. Picked up a couple more sign writing jobs on the weekend, which is really nice. Heads up on another one. So work's starting to come in. Also made an observation today that I did commit to a panel swap. event, Australian sign panel swap event that's kicked off today, and I've got to do something about. So that was probably uncalled for, but you're going to have to live with that and actually do something about it. Hey, Nigel. I know what you say, Dan. Just leave it as it is, and that's all right. I'll be putting a new rod in it, and it probably won't hurt much, but it mightn't hurt to be round either, so there's not quite as many leaks there or stuffing to get jammed up inside. Give it about 15th hour, something like that, and it'd be good. There we go. So there, all the new projects got out of the way. We've gone through all the new projects since last week. 20th hour, that's 0.5 millimetre. Bit under 0.5 millimetre, won't hurt. We'll get that sorted. Oh, mates, have fun in Portugal. That sounds like a nice place to visit, I guess. Also, got in touch with a gentleman yesterday, and I sent him some money for a set of injector tails and nuts, on account of it being an odd proprietary thread and they're not really being easily available, and being curved seats on them. To seal seats are actually round on them, so they're a bit of a fancy sort of a thing. Anyway, they're coming from the UK, so fix that. Because we really need to do something about injector pipes before we put it back in steam. I think that's on the list of things that need to be done. Portugal sounds awesome. Jim and Randy, g'day. Nigel, there's another video. Your die file is starting to progress along nicely. I'm glad it's not just mine of my sort of projects that end up getting things done twice occasionally, but people who actually invent stuff and do good work do that too. So, they're the things that are going on this week. If you want a serious list of things that I'm actually attempting to accomplish in the next few months, I do have one written down, but it's a bit scary. And honestly, I'm not sure I'm going to stick to any of it. I'd very much like to get some work done on this little engine at some point. Nigel's full on gardening. He must be having some good weather. That sounds awesome. I'm full on painting this next week, I think, is where I'm at. Prepping to paint some stencils and Fresnels and things, or some friskets and things to set up for some jobs, and probably I'm going to make a couple of little signboards to go on top of this and paint them and glue them in place, and probably just a piece of thin sheet so that they look like they're actually, make it a little bit easier to do and a little bit easier to read, and make them look like they actually are meant to be made like that. So that's probably a job for that. So Probably going to get something done with this because that needs doing. Is when that engine's out of steam. It's a bit of a problem. Need to spend quite a lot of time on things, but this weekend's a long weekend, so I've got 3 days off again, and well, that's normal anyway. But I'll get them things done, I guess. I guess Portugal's just over the water. Hello, Adam. Well, it's probably premature, but congratulations on the new job. Hope it works out. Hope something comes of it. Very premature. Okay, you got to live in hope. So that's sort of. I think I pretty well covered what I'm doing. There's just lots and lots to do. We did have a road run. And that filled up most of the weekend. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but it did fill up the most of the weekend. We've still got 2 plugs to come out of the roller. One in the front tube plate, right down low, which seems to be pretty jolly tight, and it's in the smoke box, so you really can't get a spanner on it. You need something with a bit of an extension on it. Don't know what to do there. And the other one's in the bottom of the firebox at the back, at the bottom of the boiler at the back, behind the firebox, below the firebox door. And on Mark's roller, that's where the blowdown valve is. But that seems to be proving very tight as well. If anyone's got a 1.1 inch, or that's 9/16 Whitworth in the modern terms, or 1/2 inch Whitworth in the BS 109 old-fashioned terms, striking spanner that we can put in there and give the thing a decent tap with a hammer, that would be very helpful, but I don't. Maybe it's something I should get, because it's something that we probably need. Be very happy to borrow one off someone to get those 2 plugs out. A flog-in spanner, that's what it needs. But it's odd size too, so I've measured it, and I don't imagine that any such thing is available new. Might have to flame cut something, and I don't know. I have to think about that. Maybe just got to sit under there with a big spanner and a big hammer and give it a tap. But you can't actually see what you're doing. 1.1 inch, which is, I think 1.1 inch is 28 mil roughly, which is, I think, 1/2 inch Whitworth. May not be. It might be 5/8 Whitworth actually. Have to look that up. Square head plugs. Yep. Bit of a dog of a thing, really. I've only got to go sort of 1/2 a turn probably, and they'll be loose, but because they're tapered, and quite a significant taper on them. But got to move them. I guess I'm going to get under there with a hammer and a spanner and give them a good whack. Anyway, next time they mightn't go in quite as tight, to be honest. I don't know, they're solid plugs. I don't think heating them up is going to make a lot of difference. I don't think you're going to get anything hot enough to actually move it. Don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I have to spend some time on it. What else is happening? There's absolutely no progress on the launch lathe. There's no progress in any projects here in this room at all, to be honest. Rattle gun's probably a good idea, but between the tender and the boiler, there's hardly enough room to get an impact socket and a rattle gun on them, and they're square. So finding a look, I think it's about 3/4 Whitworth fits on them nicely, a 16-point socket, but you can't really fit a rattle gun in there. It's one of those awkward things. That's why I was so black in that photograph that everyone's seen, is because I was under there trying to move that plug. There's no room for a breaker bar. You can't put anything really very long on a socket or whatever, because they're only like the wheels are only what, sort of a metre apart, and if that, they might not be that much. It might only be about 900 apart, and the plug's right in the middle of them, so you only got 450, about 450, 16 inches or something that you can actually lean on them. So I think you just got to whack them, like really get into it and get something that fits properly. And you can sit with your head, now the fire bar's out, you can sit with your head up inside the smoke, the firebox, and you can't actually see what you're doing, but you can probably put it on there and give it a good whack, and hopefully you don't get too much soot in your hair. Not that that's going to be something that you're going to worry about by the time you get in there. But soot in the hair is going to be one of those things. Yeah, I think we're going to miss the pits of rotten things, really. I think you just got to actually get in there and give it a whack. Don't think there's any other way to move them. And once they are out, we clean everything up, put some decent thread tape on them, we'll probably end up with some reasonable results. Put them back in. That's very true, Adam. You speak words of wisdom there. Hadn't thought of that. Anyway, that's the least of our problems this week. It's not something that's going to happen. What is going to happen is I've got a sign for the Trades Guild at Petrie to finish, which I think is probably going to be a bit of a trade-off on a agent's plate for the roller, which is quite an expensive plate on account of it being huge. Hey Russ Knox, good day. I rubbed the sign back. I brought the sign home and rubbed it back and thought, geez, this is a bit ugly. Not liking this much. going to take a lot of rubbing back to get nice. And then I rubbed it back a bit more. And it's got holes you can poke your finger through where it's rusty. So it's been there a while. So I thought, well, I'll get a quote on a new bit of tin, right? And replace it. So I got a quote from the local metal guy, and he said $42. And I thought, well, I'm not going to mess around rubbing it back and filling it and putting the undercoat and more stuff on it for that. So I said, well, I'll call in there on the way home on Monday, which I did. I said, hey, look, you sent me a quote about this, Tim. We better go ahead and do it. He says, there's a bit of sign white there. Does it have to be 700 high? And I'm like, well, yeah, sort of. He said, would 690 do? I'm like, well, he was talking my language. So he says, there's an offcut there. I'll cut a bit off the end of it and you can sell you that. So we did. So I got a bit of nice sign white with plastic still on it for $15. So I'm very happy with that. I don't even have to paint it. Just got to put some letters on it, a picture. So that's the way things should be. I feel probably stupid for not taking the rest of the offcut when you cut the end of it off. But anyway, I'm going to go back and say, have you got the other bit? Anyway, that's a job. I said I'd do a panel swap. I think I've already said that. For the traditional sign writers group in Australia, they do one. It's a bit of an undertaking. I've got 4 months to do it from now. The theme is pre-1970 hotel sign for any hotel or fictional, but it has to include your hometown. So I've got some thoughts. We'll see how that goes. I'll cut a panel out. And I'll sketch some letters out and things and see what happens, and then cut a panel out, give it some paint and start thinking about it. Probably a bit of a nautical theme with a rope around the edge and stuff like that. We'll see. But that should be fun. And it's a pretty good sort of a marketing tool too, I think. 3 weeks since you saw the toolbox. I don't know if there's much happened really. I've been sort of busy. I don't know if anyone noticed. We haven't really. I'll just shift the fire bar. It's pretty dead. Oh! Put the fire bar down on the floor. Also shift the steam gland and the 5/8 broken stud and the nut off the valve. The rest of the studs and a 1/2-inch drill. Probably put the 1/2-inch drill back in the 1/2-inch drill hole. Job's done. We have a clean bit of bench, which is really awesome. Back. I don't know if there's anything really achieved here. Did put a phone number on it, so that's my contact details. So that's pretty well finished. I actually sent this away to get business cards printed, which will probably be here tomorrow with this artwork on it. So I'm pretty happy about that. Looks good. Put a stripe around the top. I don't know if that's really what I like or what I wanted to do or whatever. It's a pretty amateurish sort of a stripe. It's not terrible, but did do that. '60s Hobart, Newtown to City pub crawl. Yeah, no one made it to the city. So that's the front. This is probably going to be, I've got this stenciled up and a pattern made, and probably this basically is going to be on the side of my van at some point, but I don't know when. So that's done. This is done too. This is sort of been messing with this a bit too. Not particularly enthusiastically, but it's a belt, garter belt and buckle here. Probably some lettering around here and some more lettering in the side, and it probably needs a buckle on it because it hasn't got one yet. But that's another job that we've sort of been working on in all the spare time when I've got a couple of hours to mess around with the paintbrush. This is jobs that I do. That'll happen. We've got a mental blank about this side. Got no idea what we put on that side. We did actually put some stops on here. For more stick, but I haven't really done anything there. This has been out on a couple of jobs since last time you saw it, so I think the top's probably looking a bit scuffed already. I'm probably going to get some sort of a anti-slip or cleanable surface or something to put on here. I got no idea what, something that had come off easy for cleaning or repainting or whatever, I don't know. This one's finished this side too, pretty much. So that's where the box is at. We're getting there. But I haven't got a clue what to put on this side, whether I do something mural fines or whether I put some gold leaf on it or whether I go all out and... There you go. There's heaps of room. Got no idea what to put there. As you can see, it's full of junk. It's not particularly well organised in there. Put that down. We've got paintbrushes here. Some Humbrol silver because someone changed their mind on a job and said they didn't want it lemon yellow, they wanted it silver, so that might be really cool, Adam. The other one's got paint in it anyway, tubes of paint and stuff. Wipe-ons, tubes, etc. Hold that thought, Adam, I'll think about that. So, this handle's a bit awful. Come on the box. An elderly gentleman who's a sign painter and a carpenter in Toowoomba made this as a friend of a if I get enough work, I'd be able to call her a colleague's father. Made this. So the box was made by him. It's my second coat of paint, and it's also had a new panel on the back because the back got bashed in. But that's where we're at. And it's slowly becoming the sort of thing that... It's sort of slowly becoming what I think it should be. I'm going to think about that, Adam. I'm not going to promise, but I'm going to think about it. Anyway, that's done. I don't know. I'm feeling like there's not very much else to really share with anyone. We might have to cut this short because I can't think of anything else that was sort of exciting. Anyone else got an idea? You just paint it with invisible ink or put a window in it. You're going to get busted. The trouble is with the door is that it gets covered in paint on the inside. Because you only got to have one spilly, sort of a tin or a tube, and you've got problems. yeah, if anyone else has got any other things that they want to talk about. Who's got a video up? I'm sure Russ Knox has. I haven't watched any YouTube at all for like a week or more. I haven't watched anything. I sort of watched half of Nigel's and fell asleep and probably woke up and watched the rest. So that's where we got with that. No one else I've even looked at YouTube with. Haven't watched any of the usual stuff. I'm a couple of videos behind on Itchy Boots. Yeah, it's pretty random. I haven't done much. I got home Sunday. We spent all Sunday. I seem to have left a little bit later on Monday than expected. Oh, awesome, Bill. Because I stopped to clean up and cook some breakfast and pack some stuff in the van. I've got a van full of steamroller bits too that we can't show you at the moment because they're out in the van. And then sort of had a slow trip home and didn't really get back into actual civilization after a few stops until about probably 4 o'clock before I got home. Watching YouTube takes a lot of time, Rusnock says, which he doesn't have. I don't have it either, but I try. And I really appreciate anyone who tunes in here, because this is the biggest waste of time that you ever found. But you haven't twigged on that yet, so we're doing good. Joe's home. He's been out doing exciting things. Anyway, that's probably about it. Apologise for the mess last week. I feel like last week's live stream was a bit of a mess. It was an hour late, and I was feeling pretty tired. I just turned up. I sort of jumped out of the van and turned the tablet on, which was awesome. And Dan did most of the work as far as preparing for that. So thank you, Dan. But we would have been better with Bill, thanks for that. Now we're going to have to go and watch it. It's all right. We will. We'll check that out too, Adam, perhaps. Anyway, Wednesday night hit the ground running and didn't seem to have a lot of spare time between then and when I got home on Monday. Tuesday, I did a stack of laundry because everything was black. I don't know if anyone noticed, but all my clothes were black and my bedding and everything else. Sorted all that out. And did some CAD work on fire bars and things, but pretty relaxed. Morning, James. I try not to watch anything with thinking in the title, but anyway, maybe that's where I'm going wrong. Anyway, didn't get any further with this guard. It's been on there for a while. I find that the paint's pretty well dry. I'm going to screw that on at some point, but I need to 3D print a new one of these for a final one. Haven't got there. Didn't happen yet. So nothing's happened on this at all. It's going to get a fair bit of work. So next week it might not be this clean, because I've got a stack load of 1/2 inch Whitworth nuts to make at some point. And maybe if I get time, I'll get into them. There's the sticker for it there. Pick the colour for the roller. I guess that's another huge milestone. The colour is light slate grey, or it's a half tint slate grey. 2/3 tint anyway, I think, slate grey, which is the original photographic grey that was used for black and white photos. And Fowler would have used that for taking photographs of new models and export models and things before they were properly painted black. So it's not really naval grey, it's more a bluey grey. It's not a bad colour with a white stripe. So that's where we're at. I'm going to order a tin of paint at some point because I've got bits in the van already that are ready to be painted, or they will be ready to paint before they go back on in that colour. It's honestly, it's about that colour. I'll have a look. That's about the colour of it. Fraction lighter maybe. Fraction lighter. Anyway, got the colour picked out. It's a pretty standard colour, and Viapons can actually make it. First YouTube, James P's got a video up. Gee, go and check James P in the Shed Shop. The Shed Shop YouTube channel. I'll go and check that out. That's pretty exciting. Anyway, we're 42 minutes in, and I don't know I've really got very much else to cover. I really appreciate anyone for tuning in and standing by and watching and the encouragement and so forth. And a huge big thanks to anyone who watched my video and left a comment. That's awesome. Really appreciate that. But honestly, as I'm not really feeling like I'm getting much done. Drop a link here in Discord. Bill says that's excellent. Yes. Stuart most people left a comment. I really appreciate that. Anyone who did, that's awesome. Whether it was good or bad or otherwise. For some reason, my first thumbnail had a spelling mistake and I've changed it. But yeah, it doesn't seem to have changed anywhere. So sorry about the spelling mistake. Only one person who picked it up, and that was after I thought I'd fixed it. And that was Dan, because he lives there. But anyway, who knows? Anyway, I'm out. Thanks heaps, everyone. We'll catch you next week. There might be a video up before then, or I'll try my best. Mr. Coots, I don't know who Mr. Coots is, but anyway. The video will probably be making Whitworth nuts, or doing a paint job, or fixing that probably is another job we need to do. But be kind to each other, and more soon. I'm out. I'll probably be in Discord for a bit. See ya.